What's up, Dominators? Welcome back to the VG Shy channel, and today I have a special, not really, video for all of y'all in which I talk about the differences between the draw trigger PGs and the crit trigger PGs. So, a few days or a few weeks back, I'm not too sure, Bushiroad, the company we all love, or hey, either one, announced a new type of trigger card that would be that could be run in the deck, and it's featured in VEB14, the new set that just came out. Which features Asha, which is Neonectar, Gearcron, Chronojet, and obviously Royal Paladin as Outmal, the Team Tri-3 if I'm not wrong. So yeah, there are the Sentinel crits, tada! And they have a 30k shield value and is considered as Sentinel, meaning you can run these with the drop triggers, PGs, at both or 4 off. So you can either run a mix of, like, let's just say 1 Sentinel crit and then 3 PGs if you draw PGs if you want. It's a really weird combination. Most people would just either run like straight up 12 crits and don't run the draws, or just straight up don't run the crits and run the draws. So it's pretty interesting to see that Bushiroad implemented these new crits into the game, and it makes up for a lot of different new deck building and deck styles. So for now, let's just dive into which clans are most beneficial in using these new crit sentinels. So take note that this is assuming that all clans get the sentinel crits, which they probably will. I mean, if they release the crit for 3 of the clans already, they'll probably release for the rest of the clans anyways. But yeah, in the meantime, here's a few CFA games that I actually recorded with post VEB14 Royal Paladin Outmal. It's a very strong deck. It's probably the best deck out of all, comparing to Gear Chronicle and Neonectar. So the deck I'm playing, which is Outmal, has no draw trigger sentinels, so it's just a pure 12 crit and 4 heals deck. So let's start off by splitting into the 2 categories. Number 1, that will most likely use the new sentinel crit, and number 2, the one that will most likely not use the Sentinel crit. So take note that all these are just my opinions, and feel free to leave yours in the comment section below, and you have to take my word for it. It's just my opinion in which clan is suited best for the Sentinel crit. So for the first category in which we will most likely use the Sentinel crit, we have Angel Feather, the Protect 1 and Protect 2 build, so it doesn't matter either one. Bermuda Triangle can be Melody, can be Highlander. I think, yeah, Highlander might run draws. It really depends. If you are really ballsy, you can just go for a straight out 12 crit. But Highlander doesn't really have that much pressure until their Great 4 turn. While for Bermuda Triangle, their Great 2 turn is probably Rush and Crush. So yeah, running the Sentinel crits will apply more pressure. Dark Regulars, just because they are Protect clan, and if you're soul charging a lot and you're turboing up your soul for NLK first right or Rufus, you're able to activate Rufus skill on your first Great 3 right. Crits is a way to go, plus you're Protect clan, so you can just get a free Sentinel on your right. Gear Chronicle, this is quite questionable as well, even though Gear Chron, I wouldn't say it has a very huge hand size, but running the crit sentinels really applies a lot of pressure, especially if you are able to use next stage already. So next stage into Chronojet, you downgrade using the skill. It's really pressurizing, plus no sentinels means that your opponent will have to guard even more, and the pressure of you running 12 crits and checking crits because of your 4 drives, 2 from next stage and 2 from Chronojet, really applies a lot of pressure onto your opponent. That's why I think it's possible. Next up we have Genesis. So Genesis, not really, I think it's kind of no-brainer where you really want to check a lot of crits, especially if you're playing the Valkyrian build, which everybody should be playing. Probably the most viable build is the Valkyrian build, so crits is the way to go. Grand Blue, obviously, you don't need PGs, especially Grand Blue, where you don't run draw PGs or just run straight out 12 crits, so you can just tag in the Sentinel crits and increase your Grade 1 slot with another card. Link Joker, so I've split this up into archetypes where we got deleters, as you can see the asterisk right there. So asterisk for Link Jokers means the different archetype, where we get Mega Colony, where we get deleters. So Rush and Crush, deleters on your Great 3 turn, you ideally don't want to check draw triggers, even though your hand size is going to be small AF, but yeah, crits is the way to go in terms of ending your opponent. Secondly, we got Mega Colony. So yeah, not secondly, but after that we got Mega Colony. Protect clan, yes, you get a free Sentinel, but in terms of running the most viable deck in Mega Colony, which is Guardian Kolio, obviously I would recommend just running crits so you can mill your opponent faster, you can check crit harder, and push even harder as a Protect Clan. Moving on, we have Pale Moon, end of stage. So this is another one, not Pale Moon, sorry, we have Spike Brothers, yeah. We have Spike Brothers, my bad. That's the Spike Brothers icon. God damn, it's not Pale Moon. We have Spike Brothers. Strong grade 2, grade 1 turn. You can rush really strong. And your grade 3 turn, the most viable VR right now is what? Deadbeat Bull Spike. Yeah, we combined with Siegfried, I guess that's the only spot. Running 12 crits, yes, I think it's a viable option because you are rushing really hard in the early game. Your late game, when you ride up to grade 3, you ideally want to check more crits and you wouldn't want to check draws. So, yes, viable. Moving on, we have OTT. I think it's no-brainer. OTT with enormous amounts of hand size, you really wouldn't want to check any more draw triggers. Plus, you are Protect Clan, so you get a free Protect every time you ride. So running the 12 crits is most likely viable. Now we go on to Pale Moon, which is the end of stage build. I wouldn't say that it's bad in terms of end of stage. Maybe you can, there's a few builds in Pale Moon. Most meta-ish one, or like the most viable one, is Lukia, but we'll get into that later why Lukia doesn't run 12 crits. So other than Lukia's, in terms of maybe end of stage, what's the Nightmare Dolls? Yeah, Nightmare Dolls, that's one build, I guess. There's the last one, which is the first VR, which I don't remember the name. What's the first VR called? Golden Beast Tamer, right, Golden Beast Tamer. That's the first VR. Draws, crits, yeah, it's still possible in a sense where you want to end your opponent off with multi-attacks and at the same time having not, I wouldn't say a very fantastic grade 2 turn, but yeah, you ideally want to check crits instead of draws to end your opponent off. Last but not least, on this category, not tier 1, on this category list, we have Royal Paladin. I think the video speaks for itself. I'm streaming CFA content, not streaming, I'm recording CFA content for you to watch right now. So crits in Royal Paladin, I think it's very strong, especially with Outmao, where your grade 2 turn is insane. So checking the crit early game, it applies a lot of pressure when you just ride up to your grade 3 Outmao and then pressure them with even more crits and more power. Alright, so now moving on to the second category in which the clans will most probably not use the Sentinel crits. First, we have Aqua Force. So Aqua Force, it's a XL deck, yes, and it's very good, very pressurizing. I would say it's one of the hovering around tier 1 to tier 1.5 meta deck in terms of standard. And reasons why you wouldn't want to run the draw trigger crits, crit trigger Sentinels is because you will want to have that draw power from your draw triggers in order to draw into your pieces. So it's quite a piece reliant deck where you need to have some grade 2s on board. Like, let's just say you're gonna need Elgos, Tidal Swords, you can get Gallias, you can get Coral Assault, all that. So it's pretty much piece reliant, and cutting out the draws would damage the deck in terms of not being able to draw the cards that you need for your rush or for your grade 2 turn to be scary enough. So I think draw triggers is still prevalent in Aqua Force. Moving on to Dimensional Police. So there's another asterisk on this in which it's red in color. So red in color means that there is a possible chance for them to run the Sentinel crits, but instead I choose to run draws if I ever played the deck. So it's possible to run crits in Dimensional Police because you're already on a grade 3 Vanguard with pressuring with 3 crits if you actually go Force 2 because of what's the guy's Dieliner? Yes, Dieliner's grade 3. Right, the skill gives the Vanguard 20k on crit, and you can go Force 2, so it's 33k 3 crits with the pressure of running the Sentinel crit, so you're having 12 crits in the deck, and for you to check more crits instead of draws, it is a possible chance. But I think with Dimensional Police not having a very good grade 2 turn nor grade 1 turn, draw triggers helps you draw into their pieces as well, and then it helps mitigate in terms of the damage and gets your pieces such as a Great Dayusha or whatever. But even though you can search out with Dieliner, I think draw triggers is still pretty good in DP. But of course, that's just my opinion. You can run whatever you want. Actually, you can run 2 crits, 2 draws. Up to you, man. It's just my opinion. Moving on, Go Paladin. I think Go Paladin, you either run fronts or run crits. So if you're running crits, then sure, but most likely you'll still run draw trigger PGs. I wouldn't want to get much into Gold Paladin because it is still a piece reliant deck in terms of you need to constantly replenish your rear guards. But yeah, draw trigger I think is still better rather than the crits. Moving on, we have Great Nature. So Great Nature, yes, is in this tier list. Some of you might wonder why. I feel that sometimes people think that Great Nature decks are a lot, in which they do. Yes, they're milling a lot because of Isabel and a lot of other cards. But if you are controlling your mills and you are able to, get the specific cards that you want, in which draw triggers helps a lot. That's why it's an XL deck with really piece reliant. Let's just say you need to get Zebra, you need to get what's called Bino Tiger, yes, Binoculars Tiger. You need specific pieces in order for your board to be really good. And most of the time, you'll be running fronts. I've seen people run crits, some people run fronts. XL decks mostly fall under the tier 2 category, where instead of running crits, you'll run fronts instead. So that's why most of them fall under the category 2. Moving on, we have Kagero. Kagero, no hand size. Very limited hand size actually, so I don't think you should cut out the draw trigger PGs at all. It's really good. Moving on to Link Joker, so this is another archetype where we have Link Joker Messiah in this spot. Messiah, at the moment, I wouldn't say too much. You are able to run 12 crits, sure, if you want. But draw trigger PGs, I feel, it still builds up your hand size, even though your first right is completely shit, because Messiah needs a great tree in your soul for it to, get the draws going and get your hand size pumped up. But yeah, it helps in the early game, where your first great tree right and you're unable to do much. Draw triggers help to build up your hand, and if you damage check into one of them, it helps to replenish your hand as well, and it can be used as a guardian. Moving on as Murakumo. So Murakumo, I wouldn't say it's possible to run the Sentinel crits, because most of the time you still opt for the draws because XL deck. But most of the time, Murakumo doesn't run fronts. Murakumo's players run crit. And with the addition cut off of Shirayuki right now in standard, Murakumo has fallen drastically in the tiers level, so draws do help rather than getting a free 30k shield with a cost of Soul plus 2 and discarding a card. Like, wow, amazing. Moving on, we have Narukami. Narukami piece variant deck. I wouldn't get too much into it, so obviously it's gonna be draw triggers. You would want to run the crits. Neo Nectar, right? This one is interesting, where I said you can run the Sentinel crits. It's possible, but I would still opt for the draw trigger PGs, because Neo Nectar, I've realized once my testings of VEB14, its hand size is completely shit. Yes. It has absolutely no hand size at all. If you're running the crit Sentinels, good luck to you. You just have to make sure you check crit like all the time, so that your opponent can cry and dies before they get up to grade 3 or something. But yeah, if you're going first as Neo Nectar, obviously running the Sentinel crits is much more pressurizing, because you're able to go into your Fairy token and then pump all the crit to Vanguard, which gives the Fairy token crit as well. But other than that, I feel that if you're going second and if your hand's really bad, draw triggers do help you get back into the game by drawing the pieces that you need, especially specific pieces like Soul Charging Power or Plant Token Spawning Power, either one. So I feel that Neo Nectar still runs the draw trigger PGs, but yeah, it is possible to run the crits if you're ballsy enough. Moving on to Normal Grapplers, Beast Deity build. Obviously you'll run you'll run the crit Sentinels instead, but Beast Deity is not really that relevant nor viable now, so go ahead and just run fronts. I don't really want to talk about this because you'll just run fronts and not crits. Nubatama, I think it's pretty much default as well. You ideally want to draw and draws. Piece reliant deck where you need to combo off your Bird, Hanzo, and Jamneo Congo, so draws really help a lot. Next one we have Pale Moon Lucia. So Lucia just got hit really hard also with the Dorian, so you don't really have that much draw power anymore, so draw triggers is still very very viable in a sense where you need to draw trigger PGs in order to help out with your hand size. Shadow Paladin. Okay, this one is pretty interesting, where I've deemed it to be draw trigger PGs instead of running the Sentinel crits, because Shadow Paladin's hand size is not that huge as well, so draw trigger PGs do help. And running the crit Sentinel PGs, yes, it exerts more pressure, but if you take note, if you're running the moderate nor the claret, or the claret, okay, claret you obviously run 12 crits, that one I will talk about it. But in terms of moderate, where you run crits, if you run the Sentinel crits, you are only able to pump the crits onto your Blaster Dart after they have restood. So you don't get the crit with the Blaster Dart at all, in terms of, you know, where you are able to attack with your Vanguard first, then stand your Blaster Dart 2 times or something like that. No, it's not a multi-attack Force Clan. It is a multi-attack Force Clan, but it multi-attacks after your Vanguard has been drive checked. So yes, it is viable though. I wouldn't say that it's not viable at all. But I think draw trigger still, PG still helps the deck a lot in terms of drawing your pieces needed for moderate. But claret, of course, you just go straight up Sentinel crits. You don't really have to bother about that at all. Last but not least, we have Tachikaze. So Tachikaze, interesting because I've deemed it to be draw trigger PGs. I've seen people run the vanilla draws in Tachikaze because as long as Tachikaze gets the Anger Blader, you're able to do it. But now with Anger Blader banned, all the more to run draw trigger PGs, because you need the draws in order to survive on Giga Rex, and for you to having gauge and all that, yes, you're able to run the 12 crits, but draw triggers PGs still help a lot in terms of getting your hand and all that. But I wouldn't say that Tachikaze could neglect the crit trigger PGs as well. But most of the time, if you're gauging a lot, those crits will just go to the bottom of your rear guards, and you wouldn't be able to get them out at all, unless, you know, you got gauge removers or draw off gauge such as Blytox or whatever. So I still deem that Tachikaze is currently in standard with the Anger Blader ban, and you're running Giga Rex, you're still running the draw trigger PGs just for consistency's sake. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. So take note that technically all the clans are entitled to use the Sentinel crits, and it's possible, but some would definitely benefit more than others. As you can see in the categories, I think category 1 is much more important in terms of running the Sentinel crits rather than the draws. And I think Bushiroad is just trying to get back into OG format in G series, where people do run 12 crits in the deck for more aggressive plays. So, but now I'm currently in lockdown. I'll be posting more fights, probably featuring fights on CFA, because I'm unable to go out of my house because Singapore is on lockdown currently. So I'll be posting more CFA fights, probably featuring Asha and probably Gearcron really soon. So thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands. This is VGShy, and I'm out. Peace.